Hello everyone and welcome back to the week 16, week 16 of my Letterboxd Diary. At first I was thinking of doing another random movies episode like last week and it started like that as well. But with my second movie this week, I knew I was heading for a Ryan Coogler theme. For those who don't know, Ryan Coogler is an Oakland native filmmaker and producer. He's known for his projects like Black Panther franchise, Creed, and most recently Sinners. With the addition of some of the movies in this week's episode, I finished his directorial catalog. Granted, he only has 5 motion pictures under his belt, but what this man can bring to the screen is undoubtedly undeniable. He has a raw but calculated execution for his films, and in every single one, he managed to affect me emotionally. I'm definitely a Ryan Coogler fan at this point. But enough of this intro talk, so let's start with our Ryan Coogler's first movie. After watching Sinners, I knew I had to watch Fruitvale Station next. But man, this is one of those movies that indeed made me feel that it was coming from the heart. This film is the directorial debut of Ryan Coogler, and what a debut it is. This story, if you don't know, is based on the events that leading to the tragic and unjust murder of 22-year-old Oscar Grant by the hands of an Bay Area police officer. Starring Michael B. Jordan, at this point Coogler's #1 actor, lives and breathes as portraying Oscar in this performance. But he's not the only one who shines in their role. Octavia Spencer, man, she's someone else. At the end, where she's showing a mother's devastation of her son's passing, she made me felt that in my core, and I'm still thinking about it. All the actings combined with Coogler's raw and effective storytelling forms this masterpiece. I don't know if you can make this film any better than this. In 85 minutes of runtime with basically telling a story that takes place in a single day, Coogler shows us who is Oscar as a person, partner, father, and as a son all the way to the tragic end. As the film starts, the first scene that welcomes us is the real-life footage of the police officer's crime on Oscar. With this and every minute passing, I felt my heart getting tightened up. Seeing every decision that leading up to this situation is suffering because none of those decisions comes from a bad place. That's the worst part of it. Oscar, even though done some bad things in the past, looks like a young person taking lessons from his mistakes and tries to be a better person. I would like to hope situations like this will be a lesson to humanity to not make the same mistakes that is done before. But still, many years after this event and many more just like this, we are unfortunately not there yet. But I'm happy for having people like Ryan Coogler at least putting a spotlight on these situations. After Fruitvale Station, I was in the mood for more Coogler/Jordan films. So I decided to rewatch one of my favorites with that collaboration. A couple of years ago, I started to watch Rocky series completely by accident. I heard about Creed without knowing anything about it and decided to give it a chance. And when Stallone entered the scene, I was in complete shock. Long story short, I watched the first 2 Creed movies before the release of third one and decided to watch the rest of the Rocky franchise. When it comes to storytelling, even though I watched this movie for the 3rd time now, it gets me emotional every single time. Some people classifying this film as a sports movie, but I couldn't disagree more. Yeah, it includes boxing, sure. But Creed is a tremendous drama that includes a sport. Calling it a sports movie will be only degrading. Thanks to Creed, I realized how great of an actor Michael B. Jordan is. Of course, I watched some of his early works like Panther and Chronicle, but Creed is something else, man. Coogler's narrative prowess and great cinematographic talent mixing with MBJ's amazing portrayal creates a masterpiece. It's emotional, inspiring, motivating, captivating, and most importantly, it doesn't get old. I wish their collaboration would continue with the later Creed movies, but at least this departure allowed us to see Michael B. Jordan to have his directorial debut with Creed 3, which is great on its own right. This is only the second time I'm watching this film, and I was a little skeptical before watching it again, because I gotta tell you, I didn't love it at my first time seeing. But the only bad thing that left in my brain was the CGI shit show at the end, so I tried to be open-minded. And this time around, I enjoyed it a lot. The film feels more like a political and cultural drama than a superhero movie. I believe Coogler's narrative talent really shines here by giving a breath of fresh air to a MCU product. The acting was brilliant. This is maybe, when you look at the total talent, the best acting cast in a superhero movie, at least since the Dark Knight trilogy. We have Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Martin Freeman, Sterling K. Brown, Forrest Whitaker, Angela Bassett, Andy Serkis, Daniel Kaluuya, Lupita Nyong'o, Dania Gurira, and probably many more that I'm missing. Not only these people are fantastic casting to their roles, but they are also acting their asses off. Cinematography was beautiful and most of the CGI altered shots looked impressively realistic. Of course, there were some shots that were a little iffy, and obviously there was the final battle between Black Panther and Killmonger. But other than these, this is a good looking movie. The set and costume designs were amazing. The world building was pretty cool. I mean, not everything can be perfect. Even the Killmonger's VFX Panther costume was looking mostly fine when he was fighting against Shuri, Nakia and Okoye. And while we are at Killmonger, shout out to MBJ. In most of his career, we've seen this man playing mostly good guy roles. But here, he shows us how great of a villain he can be. I would love to see more Killmonger in the further MCU projects, but then we wouldn't get this final dialogue from him.
Why? So you could just lock me up? Nah. Just bury me in the ocean with my ancestors that jumped from the ships. Because they knew death was better than bondage.
Now, this was a film that I dodged for 3 years. I don't know why, but after Chadwick's untimely passing, I couldn't make myself watch Black Panther 2. But after watching it now, I gotta tell you, this might be a little bit better than the first film. You know, I called the Black Panther a political and cultural drama. Wakanda Forever follows this path too, but this time it also adds a theme of mourning. The film starts with doing an homage to Chadwick's passing as T'Challa passes away with an illness. But throughout the film, even after a 1-year time lapse, that theme doesn't go away. And that's the most important part. We don't necessarily stop mourning to deaths of our loved ones, we just learn to live with it. I believe acting in this film was much better than the last one, because it was more depending on it. Angela Bassett stole the show every time she was on the screen, and I loved every second of it. Letitia Wright had to become the lead in this movie, and I think she did an okay job. Granted, it felt like she didn't have much weight and impact with her role. Some of her castmates certainly overshines her, but I believe she can build more onto this role if the franchise continues. There was a surprise Killmonger cameo that I wasn't expecting, but it felt right, because of the similarities between Shuri's current self and Eric. The score, the set design and VFX were all much better in this film. Some of the shots, especially underwater ones, were incredibly beautiful. Still, the Black Panther suit felt a bit unrealistic, but looked better in this film. We also see the debut of Namor, and I really liked how they executed his character. Turning him into a Mayan rather than having him as his comic accurate self was a great choice, and it really worked in this environment. It is one of the longest Marvel movies with its 2 hours and 41 minutes runtime, and it really feels like it. I mean, there weren't much shots to trim or cut anyway, but the scenes including Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, say that 3 times fast, were a bit dragging. But I get it, those parts were probably only there because Marvel's further world building plans for their future projects, so it was understandable but incredibly unnecessary. Still, Ryan Coogler and every single person who worked on this project gave the proper respect that Chadwick Boseman and Black Panther franchise deserved. They could have cancelled this project and everyone would be okay with it, but deciding to make a movie in honor of their friend is certainly admirable. And that's about it. This was a great journey on my part. Watching the director's entire catalog is definitely moving, and I'm super excited for what Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan will cook together. With their recent hit Sinners, now they have become one of the most popular director-actor duo in the industry. Maybe you know this, but I'm trying a different style to introduce my videos on YouTube page. I want it to be more presentable and inviting to the random viewers, so in upcoming weeks you might see more of that. Thank you everyone for sticking until the end. Liking and subscribing to the channel is always much appreciated. I'm glad you're here. Bye.